Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 50 Shades of Tay. My name is Taylor Gonzalez, and today I am joined by a very special guest, you guys. I have Martin Portlock here, who is playing Peter Pan. That is like a dream role for me. Peter Pan in Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. Martin, how are you doing today?
Taylor, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm a bit stressed, like because
Uh-oh.
we are literally filming.
Hmm.
In about a week's time is the official start date for filming this thing. So it's been a long time coming, and I was so fortunate to be cast as Peter. And this is going to be this is going to be a film for the books, I think.
I cannot wait. I was talking to Scott Chambers. I guess it's been like a month now. This is so sad because they were all
Mm.
here for Blood and Honey 2, and I got to host them for the week while they were here. We did Q&As every day at City Walk at Universal Studios. And he told me a little bit about it, which I can't say anything, but I am very excited for this film. And yeah, it just sounds like so much fun. And for you to get to play Peter, the main character, who's also like one of my favorite characters of all time, Peter Pan. I have a Peter Pan tattoo on my middle finger. It's second
Let's
star to
see.
the right.
Bring closer.
I don't know
Second
if it'll
star to the
focus
right.
on it.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
But
Peter Pan, though, Peter Pan is, um, I mean, it's a story that created by J. M. Barrie. It was the original text for Peter Pan. Um, isn't really what we know as Peter Pan today. And how old are you, may I ask?
oh, I am 32, but I tell people I'm
32.
21.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, yeah, me too. Yeah, so Peter Pan was glorified a lot as the little boy who never wanted to grow old, who wanted to play in Neverland forever, fighting pirates, and live in an eternal existence of happiness as a child. And that that story and that those characters couldn't have been really further than the
Mhm.
truth. When they originally wrote, when J.M. Barrie originally wrote the script for Peter Pan, it was a lot darker. If you go back in history and look at some of the habits of his life and the people he used to know, Peter and Hook, for example, they were based on real people, but not very nice people. And Peter, in the original texts, was a young boy who didn't have consequences to any of his actions. And what that meant was that he could do literally anything he wanted. And it didn't mean that he was a good boy. You know, he could literally do anything he wanted. And there is a real dark side to the tale of Pan.
Mhm. Oh, and I cannot wait to explore that dark side with this film. How did you get cast in the role of Peter Pan?
So I mean, they say they were looking and they've seen hundreds of tapes and people, and I think they were struggling to find somebody. From what Scott was telling me, they really struggled with it, and um, one of the it's quite unusual actually. One of the makeup artists that is part of his production, I'd worked with that lady before, and on another project, and she said, "Well, actually, I know this guy. His name's Martin Portlock. You know, he's got here's his show reel. I'll have a look, see what you think." So Scott contacted me, and I sent him a self tape. He sent me the whole script, and I said, "Wow, wow, okay." He said, "Choose a couple of scenes, do a couple of scenes for me. I want to see what you lie. I want to see what you bring to this character." And I sent him this tape off, and he responded with, "Oh wow, that's amazing. Can you do one more in a slightly different way?" And I sent it in, and then the next thing I know, I have an email saying, "Congratulations, we really want you for Pan." So that was quite surreal, actually, because I'm what 42 now, and I thought I'm too old to play Peter Pan.
No.
And when I read the script, I was like, I get it now. Peter Pan is he's an older man. He's in the real world. He believes in Neverland. um, but his beliefs are something that other people could see as being completely psychotic.
Mhm.
Um, there's a definite depth to this story of Peter Pan. It's not like anything anyone's ever seen from Peter Pan. You know, I wouldn't expect don't expect to sit down in a cinema and see, you know, the live action version of a Disney Peter Pan
Mhm.
gone dark. That's not what this is. You know, Jagged Edge Productions, like you know, Winnie the Pooh 2, it's different from that.
Mhm.
Winnie the Pooh 2 seemed to have had uh, a lot of action sequences, a lot of the gore,
Mhm.
um, a lot of this is happening now, this is happening now, this is happening now. Peter Pan is a lot more tense.
Ooh, okay.
It's more of a thriller based movie.
Mhm.
Things like Black Phone and was one of the movies that we kind of looked at and thought, oh, this is the kind of flavor that we want to go for now with Pan.
Mhm.
So it's a lot darker. It's obviously involves children, so it's a lot more sadistic.
Mhm.
Um, you know, they have the characters, you know, Wendy and Michael, and you know, Michael gets kidnapped, you know, and I don't want to. I don't want to say too much. I'm
Yeah.
trying to hold back. I mean, I'd love to talk to you about
Mhm.
it, tell you everything, but I can't. And but what I do know, and I can tell you this, is
Mhm.
that anybody who's ever seen any of their films before, this is going to be very different. You know, Scott's directing it. He's got a great vision. We spoke at depth about how we want this movie to be,
Mhm.
and I'm really excited to bring you a very dark rendition of Peter Pan
Mhm.
to everyone. You know, to thrill you all, knock your socks off.
Yeah. Oh, I cannot wait. Yeah, I know. I have to be very careful too because I'm like, what did we talk about privately and what did we talk about publicly? So I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I will say what we did talk about at the Q&As that I did was Tinkerbell. And I actually
Yeah.
have an interview coming up this week, later this week, with Kit Green, who plays Tinkerbell. And the story that I've heard so far about Tinkerbell, I think is going to be so fun, so different from the Tinkerbell that we all grew up watching on Disney. And
Yeah,
it's just
this
gonna be
is
so
it. This
fun.
is it. I don't think no one should really pay attention to the characters as they know it.
Yeah.
This is all an original creative development in terms of these characters now.
Mhm.
And Tink, yeah, oh man, what can I say? Tink is very different.
Mhm.
And what I would say is, if you were living in the real world, how would these characters
Mhm.
be?
Mhm.
How would they be? Um, I'm biting my tongue here. I'm
No, I know.
biting
I
my
know that
tongue.
Tinkerbell's a party girl. That's one thing that we did discuss publicly.
Oh, that's okay then. Yeah, she's a bit of a party girl.
Hmm.
Yeah, but not maybe a party girl that you expect either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. So growing up, other than Peter Pan, did you have another favorite character from his story?
What from Pan's story?
Mhm.
Oh, well, it's got to be James Hook, isn't it?
Yeah, I
You
know.
know,
That's the
James.
same for me.
You know that they're the two primary protagonists from that story and those
Mhm.
films, and I find Hook's character. In fact, my first ever stage role was James Hook.
Oh wow.
It was,
Okay.
yeah. This is crazy. My first ever stage role was James Hook, and now I get to play a very nasty Pan. But
Mhm.
when I was reading for Hook, you realize how hurt this guy is. See, I find in a lot of villains, as Hook is portrayed,
Mhm.
that there's ultimately a lot of pain because no one's born a villain.
Mhm.
They're created a villain. And for me, when I read a script or you go through, especially like what I've been doing with Pan, you read where's his pain come from? You know, why is he doing that now?
Mhm.
You know, and that's what I love about Hook as an alternate character. You know, is maybe he didn't have parents. You know, if he was just living in Neverland, fighting kids that were being pains in the ass and running around killing his pirates, I mean, you would build up a degree of hate.
Uh,
you know, um, and learn to hate kids. And I find that fascinating. I find the psychology of these characters fascinating.
yeah. Oh, that's very true. What about this film are you looking forward to the most?
Well, without spoilers,
Mhm.
um, so there's a scene um, where I'm in a circus, and I'm looking forward to that
All right. That's a good
because I
tease.
get to I get to play a slightly different version of the character through the whole film. It's the one scene where I get to be something different than I am in the rest of the movie, and I'm looking forward to that.
All right. Oh, that sounds like fun. Yeah, that's a very good tease because it's not too specific, not spoiling anything. But when we
Hmm.
get to that scene when that film comes out, we'll know exactly what you were talking about. Ah, very fun.
Absolutely.
So, as we have mentioned, our friend, mutual friend, Scott Chambers, what is it like getting to work with him? Because just from speaking with him, he is so driven. He is so smart. Every time I talk to him, I am tired for him when I hear the amount of different projects he's working on, the amount of different, producing, directing, acting, all these different roles he does in all these films. What is it like to work with someone who is as driven as him, as talented as him, and to have him behind the chair as the director? What is it like?
When I first, I mean, I'll tell you a little bit something that I know about Scott.
Mm,
Now, I don't know him personally. Okay,
mm.
we weren't best friends. I literally met him at the premiere of
Oh.
Winnie the Pooh 2. So he cast me as
Mm.
Pan and invited me to Winnie the Pooh. And as soon as I saw him, he threw his arms around me
Oh.
and he had one drink in one hand and he just announced to everyone, Peter Pan's here, Peter Pan's. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, what's going on here? Anyway, so from then, obviously we've been talking a lot. And I I don't think I've ever met anyone so enthusiastic, positive, excited, creative. And he's enthusiastic about his creativity. And that's
Mm.
what's wonderful. Not only, as you say, is he an actor, but he's now producing Pan. He's now going to be doing some directing. He's got a vision that he wants to create. Okay, he's got his canvas now. He's getting his brushes and he wants to paint. And it's wonderful to see an individual open up from deep within and be excited about all of these things and want everyone to come on board with him to help create this movie. And the one thing that gave me such a wonderful, warm, fuzzy feeling inside is he said to me, Martin, I want Peter Pan to be different good. We've done a lot of gore. I want this movie to be a good thriller. I want this movie to be special. And I was like, that's come from the heart.
Mm.
And and I'm extremely excited to work with someone like that on set.
Yeah. Oh, that is awesome. Yeah, he is, like you said, very enthusiastic. And I think what's great
Mm.
about working with someone like that is at the end of the day, it is still work, even though it's a dream job to play Peter Pan or to be in a horror film, which is something that, I am
Oh,
dying to do
incredibly
one day.
lucky. I get to do this as a job.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous,
Yeah.
but
But to
it's
have
such a
someone,
privilege.
yeah, as enthusiastic as him, even if there's, a day where you maybe are tired or you don't feel like driving to set or you don't feel like it, you have someone who's as driven and talented and enthusiastic, and that enthusiasm just rubs off on other people. And maybe it's not a day where you felt like getting up early, but getting to set and being with someone like Scott, it's like I feel like he's the kind of person that instantly like turns your mood around and gets everyone, I don't know, gets the ball rolling, gets everyone in a good mood. So I think you're in very good hands, and I cannot wait to see what it looks like when you guys start filming together and get to work together. But every word you use to describe him, I think is exactly how I would describe him as well.
Yeah, he's a very very kind, gentle, enthusiastic soul.
Yes, I agree. So, as we both know, the Pooniverse is expanding, and all
Oh
these films
gosh,
are going to
yeah.
be building towards this Avengers style crossover film. what are some of the things you would like to see in the Pooniverse? Like if you could cross over Peter Pan with any of these other characters that we know are coming, like Bambi or Pinocchio or anyone from Pooh, are there any dream scenarios you have in your head of who you would like to see him team up with or fight against?
Right. So I tell you what I'm a huge fan of. I'm a huge fan of when the bad guy is still a bad guy but turns good. He fights for the greater cause, right? Still a bad guy though. Still gets their comeuppance. So I would love to see. I'd love to see Pan fight against one of those, 100 Acre Wood creatures. You know,
Mhm.
I wonder. I wonder what it'd be like because Pan's got a unique set of skills, but then so is Pooh, and
Mhm.
so is Owl, and, the rest of them. Um, I'd love to see the Mad Hatter.
Mhm.
I think we've all seen the poster, right? I mean, I don't think
Yeah.
that's a spoiler.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure how accurate the poster is going to be compared to how the next movie is going to be, but
Mhm.
there are a lot of characters on there. They're all some of them are good, a lot of them are very bad. And I think we're going to see some. I'd like to see some great monster on monster action.
Yeah. Oh, I know it's crazy because when I first saw that poster and you see Winnie the Pooh riding on Bambi while also holding the bear trap like a lasso,
Yeah.
it's like your imagination just runs wild of all the different combinations of characters you could put. Because yeah, like you said, there's the Mad Hatter, but then there's also rabbits on the poster. You just never know
Mm,
what kind of team ups you could have. And I agree with you. I love seeing you see it a lot in Star Wars, especially like the Clone Wars and the animated series, where there's two characters. One's obviously a Jedi, and then like there's a Sith or a bounty hunter. They're stranded on the same planet, or they're both stuck in the same scenario, and then they have to team up, even though they never
mm.
normally would, to get out of that situation. I think something like that would be very interesting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's always a mutual understanding of survival and needs must do.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I would love to see one of the bad guys turn good to
Ooh,
then ultimately still be bad. And
yeah.
you know, I mean, the good guys have got to win. But then, in a fairy tale world like this, you don't know.
Yeah,
The
that's true.
bad guys might be the winners. It's just, and
You
that
never
that
know.
would be that also would be something um, unusual to see.
Mhm.
Is a twist where maybe the bad guys won. Sorry.
Yeah. So, growing up, were you a fan of horror films? Was that something that you had from when you were a child, or is something
I
new
was
to
a
you?
huge fan of Sam Raimi,
Oh, okay.
and I grew up watching the original Evil Deads.
Yeah.
One, two, and three. Um, Evil Dead 2 was probably one of my favorites. Um, but then you had the Army of Darkness,
Hmm.
where Ash goes back in time and he's at the medieval castle. But I didn't necessarily like that movie for the movie. I loved that movie for its creativity and the concept and the continuum of the story.
Hmm.
That's what I loved. And I love Sam Raimi's way of thinking. I love the camera movement.
Hmm.
And you see it in Ash versus Evil Dead as well, the
Oh,
the
yeah.
the, the Netflix series. Um, it's got everything. It's got comedy, it's got gore, it's got fear. You've got the thriller elements of it, and you've got very big characters.
Hmm.
No characters really that big in real life, but they are in that, and there are situations people can kind of relate to as well. Strangely enough,
Hmm.
um, and I like that, and I like that in a script, and I like that when you can relate to something, no matter how far fetched it is. Um, but other horror films, I wouldn't say it was horror. I mean, there's always the classic Jaws. I cannot swim in open water. I can't. I I go to the north coast of Wales and I
Hmm.
get into the water with a little boat with my son, and I'm panicking because I don't know what's underneath me. You know that I blame Steven Spielberg for that. If I ever meet him,
Yeah.
no, I'm joking. So, be an honor to meet him. But yeah, so those are the films that I love because they trigger innate fears in you.
Mhm.
I cannot remember the last time I watched a film that actually made me jump. Um, I think the last one that truly uh, gave me a fright was when I was watching at 3 a.m. in the morning. It was pitch black. I had my projector out, and on a big projector screen, I watched the very first Paranormal Activity. And when that first came out, because it was new and it was different, and I I had to switch the lights on. It was one of those. But I don't think I've seen a film since that have given me that kind of fright or that kind of tension. I
Mhm.
suppose not maybe jump scare, but the on the edge of your seat kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I have a funny story about Paranormal Activity. So when I saw it, I had not heard of the movie before seeing it. And my friend took me to an early screening of it. It was like maybe like a month or two before they started pushing the marketing for it. And we got there, and in front of the theater, like in front of the door to get into the room, there was like a giant newspaper article, and it was the poster size, and it was about how you're about to see something that really happened in San Diego, California, and how the following footage is real and a documentary and found footage. And so I thought, oh, we're watching, a home video. And it wasn't until the Ouija board catches on fire that I finally was like, there's no way this is real. But my heart was pounding. I was terrified. And I kept turning to my friend and I was like, this is real. And he knew he was tricking me. He was like, yeah, this is all real. Like, this is all like gonna blow up huge when it goes main, like goes wide release. And yeah, until that Ouija board caught on fire, I really thought I was watching a real documentary. But you're right, that movie was so good. And I remember that night I got home late and I was supposed to take the trash out to the end of the curb and I couldn't do it. I was too scared. So the trash didn't go out that night.
But that's the genius of those movies,
Mhm.
and any creator of a movie is that they play on your innate fears. The fears that we know are always there.
Mhm.
The fears of as you walk up the stairs and everything's dark and you either have to run a little faster up the stairs because you're getting paranoid.
Mhm.
Ever had that?
Yeah,
You ever
no.
had that? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Or when you were younger and you turn the lights off in your bedroom, but you didn't want to go to the edge of your bed, so you jumped from the edge of the room onto your bed and
yeah.
got under the covers. You know, those innate they're drilled into your memory, those moments of fear and the
Mhm.
thought process. And I love it when filmmakers use those and put them into their films. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping we're going to see some of that in Pan.
Oh, that'd be awesome. It's a universal experience too, because it's like you can say these things, and I felt it. I'm sure people watching this interview have also felt those same things. It's like the fear of the unknown. You turn off the lights and you never know what's in the corner or yeah, what's in the closet.
If you haven't checked,
Yeah, if
if
you
you
haven't
haven't
checked,
checked, your brain will tell you 1,000 things.
yeah. And that's what works so great with those paranormal activity movies.
Hmm.
Do you remember the very first horror film you ever saw?
No, not horror film.
Mhm.
I think if it was horror film, it was probably it's not even classed as horror anymore. Like my parents wouldn't let me watch Gremlins on television when it came on late at night.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. Until that was Gremlins was probably the first one I ever watched. But for
Mm.
me, when I was a kid, that was scary as hell.
Mm.
You know. I think yeah, yeah. It was that era. They were very, Chucky
Uh-huh.
came out. I was too young to see it. Um, so I think the first horror films I ever saw, I think I saw Evil Dead 2 at the age of maybe 12.
Mhm.
And, I that was a hard watch at the age of 12.
Yeah.
I we struggled, I struggled watching Terminator 2 at the age of 12.
Mhm.
That was, that it was freaky, it was scary.
Yeah.
Um, but that to me that was the best era for cinema.
Yeah, no,
All
I
that
totally agree.
creativity you had. Let me see what my favorite era was. Uh, you had Ghostbusters, Back to the Future. You had the
Mm.
Naked Gun movies coming out. Willow came out in the cinema. Then Ghostbusters 2, remember that? And then even some of the animated shows like Fievel Goes West. I used to watch all those movies at the cinema. And yeah, even Beethoven. Do you remember that bloody
Oh yeah.
Beethoven film? I watched Beethoven the second at the cinema.
Oh.
And movies are magical, and they
Mm.
mean a lot to me because they're an escape, um, and they are they're a cornerstone for someone's creativity.
Mm.
Someone had a pen and a piece of paper and did that, and then months later there was this whole picture that people could sit down and watch, and I think that's magical.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's so fun. There's nothing like going to the movies. So my next question is one of my favorite questions. I don't even know how I came up with this, but I did it like a couple months ago, and then now I've been asking every single person I've been interviewing because I get completely different answers. Do you have a favorite Halloween costume that you've ever dressed up as?
Um, yeah, I dressed up as Gareth, David Bowie from Labyrinth.
Ooh, oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I've got a photo somewhere as well. Um,
Oh, that's good.
and I made it myself. Like I make all my costumes if I'm going to do something like that myself. I don't. Um, trying to think of another one as well. Um, actually, one of the most simple ones that I did, which I really enjoyed because I kind of got into character with it a little bit as well, was Edward Nygma
Ooh, okay.
from Batman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good
that
one.
was great. I really enjoyed that. That was good fun.
Yeah, oh, that's a
But
fun one.
then, but then I'm an actor. You see, I don't just dress up.
Yeah.
You just do more, don't you? And you piss your missus off, and she tells you to just stop it now. Okay, just put some chips in the oven. Okay.
Oh, that is so fun. Yeah, I'm trying to think for me, I used to dress up every year, but it's been a few years, I think since like the pandemic when we didn't celebrate Halloween that year. I just haven't dressed up since, and I need to get back
Mm.
into it. This Halloween, I'm gonna do it. But some of my favorite ones, I dressed up as Tigger as a kid. I dressed up as Mr. Potato Head. Um, I've never done a homemade one, and I think maybe this year I might try, but I'm not very good at that kind of stuff. But I
What
want
are
to
you doing? What
try.
are you doing this year? What are
I
you
don't know
doing?
yet. I gotta think of something. Because like last year there was Barbenheimer, and I thought about something
Mm.
like that, but I feel like everyone did it. So if I could think of
Yeah,
something,
cliche. Don't do that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
something that's like culturally significant, pop culturally significant, but that not everyone's doing, because I don't want to be the same as everyone else. But I also don't want to have to explain to everyone. There's nothing worse than dressing up as something for Halloween and you have to explain what it is to everyone. So I have to think of something that like enough people will understand and like instantly recognize.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
tricky.
everyone is going to be Beetlejuice this year, right?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be fun though.
Yeah. There'll be Beetlejuices, Ghostbusters, there'll be Wednesdays.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know, man. See, I think you'd witch it up.
Ooh, yeah.
Just
Classic
do a
witch.
classic evil witch.
Yeah, that's a good one. That'd
Go
be
full
fun.
on witch.
Yeah.
I find some of the more traditional the best, you
Yeah.
know.
No, that's true. Or you can never like the worst that happens is the sheet ghost. You just get a white sheet and cut the eyes. That's like my last resort in case I get stuck. Oh my
That's
gosh.
a great movie. That's one of my favorite movies.
Oh yeah.
A ghost story. A ghost story.
Yeah, A24. That was
Have-
like one of their very first
yeah,
films, or maybe even
it
the first
was
film. Yeah.
very good.
Oh,
Very good
so
film.
good. Well, Martin, it was an honor to meet you and to speak with you, and I'm very excited to see Peter Pan and hear updates from you guys on set. Where can people follow you to keep up with your upcoming films, your upcoming projects?
Yeah, well, so I'm on Facebook and Instagram. That's probably the main one. To be honest, I don't really use Facebook that much. I check my Instagram a lot more. So it's just at Martin Portlock. my that's my handle.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I will make sure to put links in the description of this video so people can follow you and check out everything that you're
Sure.
up to. But thank you again so much for taking the time to speak with me.
No,
Tell
thank you.
Scott I said hello, and tell Kit I say hi, and I'm looking forward to speaking with her in just a few days.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you very much, buddy. You look after yourself,
Oh,
and
thank you.
yeah, I really do hope everyone enjoys Pan, and I do the character justice.
Oh, I can't wait. Have a great rest of your day.
And you, mate. Bye bye.
Bye.